Okay, so I do want to go ahead and get into these topics that because we actually got some motherfucking people responding to us and shit like that, asking us to talk about shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to
absolutely.
you guys that are shouting out and stuff like that and following the podcast. We want to do shout outs. You know what I'm saying? We want to do shout outs and shit like that.
Oh yeah.
For those people that are supporting.
Oh, yeah.
Top
of the head.
You know what I'm saying? And then what did you say?
Eileen.
Yeah, off the rip. I mean,
Top off the
Eileen,
head.
thanks for all that. There's a ton of people that followed just like the Instagram and stuff like that, and it just means a lot for you guys to support and shit.
Most definitely, man. Definitely appreciate everybody watching.
I feel like we'll figure out a cool way to support people, to like shout out people and shit like that. But for now, just thank you guys for following and shit. All right, let's get to this first fucking topic then, because honestly, I think we're gonna be on this bitch forever.
Oh my god.
The question that was asked first.
Share the question first.
Let's hear the question first.
Share the question first. All right. Shout out to the homie Eileen for sending in this question. She says, "What up, guys? So I would love to hear you all talk about masculinity, toxic masculinity, and how it affects you personally as well as Latino culture. For example, how men are raised to suppress their emotions. Men should not be interested in feminine things, painting nails, wearing certain clothes, showing physical affection to other male friends, etc."
No, definitely.
No,
Why the fuck? Wait, what? Why the fuck already? Kevin was like, I think you're the problem.
Okay, wait. There's a video too, so we gotta watch this video.
Okay, yeah.
So what was the video?
Girlies, never forget that the idea that you're supposed to cook and clean for your man and spend all of your time trying to please him came from a time when men would finance their wives' entire lifestyles and then go off to war and die. And unfortunately, they're not keeping up their end of the bargain on that one, so it's time to stop treating them so well. Girlies, never forget.
So I've got an opinion. If I can go ahead and start this off a little bit,
Yeah.
I think honestly, bro, I think that whole idea is broken.
Yeah.
I think when it comes down to it, we're living in a different society right now.
It is definitely.
I mean, I feel like.
I mean, when you think about it, back in the day, you would live like most people would live in a rancho, would live with people, and basically what you had was your own property. You would have all these kids, you would have people to work in the farm and this and that.
Right.
And that's who were your laborers, your kids, and it was just one of those things where like a man had to provide, so, like he had to do that labor, the woman had to cook and this and that. I feel like now in modern times where we are now, there's no wrong in being able to cook. There's no wrong in being able to clean. There's no wrong in having equal things as partners.
Yeah, you're saying as a man we can.
As a man, yeah.
So this is the thing. I feel like also it's not to say that it's harder now, because I don't think it is. But I think now we just live in a different mindset, because like I think we do more than we should. Like in certain cases, you do more than you should, or than you would have back then. Because like now, I think it's good to share the load. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, we both work. We both come home. We both do dishes on different days. Sometimes I'll do the dishes just out of nowhere. Sometimes I'll do the laundry.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like it's easier to share the load. Like, it's just better now, because now we're more like, it's not about, oh, okay, you do more. No, we're both making our part to try to live happily, you know what I'm saying, and take care of the house. I feel like also people don't realize it's like back then it was like, I guess, based more around financial. Like now, like, bro, it doesn't have to be like we're married at 12 and I have to take care of you for the rest of our life. Like now it's not about, oh, me buying you this or me buying you that. Like now we have to like actually connect, and we have the time and to be like, okay, this isn't for me. Like I don't have to get married right now. I don't have to start a family. Like, you know what I'm saying? We're like, we can try, and then if it doesn't work with somebody, move on to somebody else. So I don't have to put myself in a position to take care of somebody. And then if it's like we're married, you know what I'm saying, we can reach a happy medium where we're both putting in the equal amount of like effort into the relationship and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think this whole thing about like toxic masculinity and all this stuff, I was talking to Kevin about this earlier. I feel like as soon as you say toxic masculinity, especially for like us that are straight dudes and stuff like that, well, obviously not Kevin and stuff, but like for me, when I hear that, I go, I've seen so many toxic people in all shapes and forms. You know what I'm saying? Like I've seen toxic people in males and in females, right. And so I don't. In general, if we're gonna address toxic masculinity, we need to address toxic traits in general. You feel me? Because it's like it's not fair to put it on. Because I'm a big advocate on mental health too. So it's like one of those things about mental health is you never know what the fuck somebody went through to get them to this mindset. Right. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like what sucks is that we put a lot of pressure on people in general to already know themselves and to make sure that they're on their P's and Q's, when in actuality, most people are coming from broken homes or coming from somewhere else where they feel like they've had some kind of problem and they need help getting out of that mindset. Because sometimes we're not aware of how fucked up our own heads are.
Most definitely.
And it's like, that's not anybody's responsibility but your own.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And if you end up finding yourself in a situation where you are with somebody who is projecting all of their shit onto you and expecting you to fix it, that's probably a situation you need to get out of.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But then again, are you doing that to other people as well?
Yeah.
You got to check yourself.
I definitely get what you're saying, because I feel like it's different. Like, we were raised differently, and like every generation is raised differently. But I feel like, just, my home personally, like, man, I remember growing up, like, it wasn't like we just didn't really talk about emotional stuff. Like, when it was me and my mom, like, man, she was hard, because we were living a hard life. She was doing everything that she could to try to take care of me and stuff like that, and going to work and trying to find time for somebody to babysit me, or whether she couldn't, or
Yeah.
And I feel like it was just like we didn't really have time to really talk about deep stuff, and she wasn't really emotional. She didn't say like stuff that maybe she should have. So I feel like growing up, I grew up like that, and it took a long time for me to, like, me being in my first serious relationship, to understand that, like, I'm not emotionally where I need to be.
Yeah.
And even for real, for the longest time, I thought the problem wasn't me, but it's like I realized, and it's something I'm still working on to this day. But I feel like it's something you got to continually work on and
100%.
pay attention to. It's like, man, like, I have tried to be there more emotionally, like, understand where you're coming from and not be tough, and like, man, when I'm going through something, talk about it, because like, I've always held that. Kevin's known me for a long time, and like, I remember, like, a lot of times growing up, like, man, I lost a lot of people. Like, a lot of people in my family and different stuff, like, passed away, and one of my best friends and stuff like that. And for the longest, it was something I couldn't talk about, Like, my uncles, for a little while, I lived with my grandparents, so I was always close to my uncles and aunts. Like, they were more like brothers and sisters. And one of my uncles, he ended up, like, taking his life, one of the youngest ones, that we hung out with a lot. And it was, like, just, man, like, kept hitting me back to back, like, constantly. And it was, like, man, I wanted to break down, but, like, I didn't open up to nobody. I didn't cry to nobody.
Yeah.
Like, man, I just held on to that hate and that anger, man. And, like, dude, it was so toxic. Like, I remember, like, Kevin, we used to hang out every day before this happened. And, like, I remember it was, like, 1 year, like, 3 people really close to me passed away, like, back to back. And I was like, man, I can't catch a break. And I remember, like, I didn't hit up Kevin. I didn't hit up nobody. Like, I didn't talk to anybody.
Yeah, for, like, 4 or 5 days.
For the longest. And, like, Kevin actually had to come to my house and ask about me, bro. It was just, like, it's just, like, that's the way I was. And even past that, like, growing up, when in my first relationship, like, I just wasn't emotionally there. Like, I thought, oh, I'm doing enough. I'm buying this, I'm buying that. And that's what I was talking about. Like, financially isn't what's more important nowadays. You know what I'm saying? It's, like, making sure you both are happy. Because, like, I would pay for everything. But it's, like,
100%.
My partner wasn't happy because I wasn't where I needed to be emotionally.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to connect with her and see where she's coming from. I was like, no, like, I go through worse. I've been through worse. Like, if I'm keep moving, then you can keep moving. You know what I'm saying? And not, like, taking that time to break down. And, like, I had a mental breakdown. I had a point where, like, man, I broke down and cried to her for, like, the first time ever. And, like, we just had, like, this huge conversation. And, like, man, I told her everything I was going through. Like, recently one of my best friends, he got shot in the head, like, a couple years ago, 2 years ago now. And, like, he lived. But, it's just never been the same. And it's something that I was sitting there. I saw, like, with my eyes, something I was, like, took forever to actually cope from, man. And it was, like, I never talked about it. I just kept moving and, like, kept having to, like, do what I had to do to pay my bills and stuff. And it was, like, man, like, life isn't going to sit there and take a break with you. So it's, like, you have to keep moving. And, like, I get that mindset. But also, man, like, if you're not talking and dealing with your problems, then you're being that's toxic.
100%.
And we broke down and I cried, man, and we just told her everything, like, man, I feel like I'm not doing what I need to do. You know what I mean?
100%.
And it just took that, like, actually acknowledging the issue and talking about it. And like I said, it's an everyday struggle to continue to work on that.
Yeah, for sure. And that's, like, the thing is, like, nowadays I feel like there's not enough patience with people that you're talking to. Because it's, like, also, too, the internet, get off the internet. Make sure that you're talking to real people in your actual life. That aren't throwing these things at you, because a lot of the times
I think that's toxic too, going to social media.
What is it?
Social media is so toxic.
Yeah.
Personally,
and
like,
talking about your own life or this or that
right.
too much, where you're getting people's opinion. Like, I feel like people are gonna always give their opinion.
Like, you should talk about your issues, but to the right people.
To the right people.
Yeah,
not everybody deserves to know your business.
Just confide in friends, because we even talked about this last week, where it's like, you gotta have real friends.
Yeah.
And that's to me, that's what I think the actual base of a real relationship is, especially with a girl. Like, when it comes to my girl, what I want more than anything is for us to be friends And it's like, if we're friends, then we can always help each other put the other one first when they need to. Because it's a balance, bro.
Yeah.
You should not always be putting yourself first. And you should not always be putting somebody else first either.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like sometimes you need time for you. Sometimes she needs time for her.
You need a person that can help that balance. You know what I'm saying? You need a person that can actually read off of you, and you can read off of her, and you guys can communicate, and you can speak on it.
I feel like people get in a relationship, and they feel like they have to force it, too. It's like, man, if you don't feel that way about this person, then leave, you know? And, like, not to be mean or disrespectful, but, like, understand and have that conversation. Y'all don't need to be together. Yeah, because the thing is, like, at the end of the day, man, if you don't want to make that person happy, or, like, you see that they're carrying a heavy load, and you're not, like, intentionally wanting to make their life better, then maybe that's not it. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing wrong with you guys, but if it's not clicking and you don't want to make that person happy anymore, then don't wear yourself out. Like, if you don't care enough, then it's not meant to be, I feel like.
If y'all can't talk, bounce.
Exactly.
All right.
Pull up the question again.
Let's get back to it.
Pull up the question again, because there was a little bit a lot.
There's a lot. It was basically talk about toxic masculinity and then talk about your own personal experience. Honestly, I think James just covered a huge part of it. If you're really paying attention, it's just being able to open up to a real group of friends in general and talk about the things that you've struggled sharing in the past and stuff like that. It don't matter how many times somebody has to say it and stuff like that. Allow them to have that space, and if you have that space, know that that's who your actual people are, because those are the people that are always connecting back and forth, telling you their stories, and you're listening to theirs. Like, just listen to people. Because
holding in that negative energy, bro, that's gonna make you a negative person. You're gonna have hate. And understanding too, man, because just because somebody's not in the same situation or been through the same things as you doesn't mean they're not feeling pain.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's always somebody who had it worse. So don't ever think that you're, you know what I'm saying?
And
like, you're the only one.
And even if they didn't have it worse, they still had it.
Exactly. Period.
Yeah. Toxic masculinity. How have you guys experienced it, or like, have you guys seen it in general? Like, can you recall an example and shit like that?
I kind of gave my experience. I want to see what Chartu got to say about, like, anything that you all experienced or anything like that.
For me, being Mexican American and growing up the way I did, my dad's awesome. I love my dad. I'm gonna preface that by saying I love my dad, I love my mom. I think they're the greatest people in the world. When I was a dumbass little kid, I didn't realize how awesome I had it.
Yeah.
And then also too, as an adult, I realized why the fuck I was lashing out in general.
Right.
And it's like, for me, those traits of like toxic, because we got this question earlier and I was like thinking about it all week, and I was like, the most toxic trait I've ever experienced was actually a time for sure when my grandma, she got hit by a truck. It's fucking funny because Santa Claus got hit by a fucking thing last week, but my grandma got hit by a truck this week. You guys were there. Esteban and Kevin, you were there. We were coming back from the barbershop.
Damn.
And my grandma, she got into an accident, and I don't know if y'all remember, but hearing my dad cry it was the first time I heard him cry, the second time I had seen him.
Right.
The first time hearing him cry the way he cried, like when somebody, it was just screaming of like straight like pain. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, y'all were there. And basically y'all had to go and stuff, and we left to Mexico that night, and it's like, this man just lost his mom. We get there. All I see is just straight all my family either drunk or crying.
Right.
And it was weird because it was like this almost party thing that was going on around my grandma's casket. And my grandma used to hate when people would get so drunk because they're just alcoholics sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But all that shit's happening around. I almost get into a fight with one of my cousins because he's going to tip over the fucking casket because he's so fucking drunk and wants to get close. We don't go to sleep. We wake up and we take my grandma, we walk behind her and do all that stuff. Bro, when I tell you I look up and I don't know any of these people out here, and not because they're my family, they're not my family, but because literally I don't fucking know any of these people. Like, it was like, felt like 150, 200 people. Yeah. And all week long, my dad is getting talked to by random people on the street, or they're coming up to the house every single day. Sorry for your condolences. You got any money for me?
No way.
Every single one.
What?
Bro, just seeing all those different transactions. Like, I was like, yo, this isn't real.
Yeah.
Family members who were crying over my grandma not dying just a couple days ago, asking him for money right then and there. Strangers asking him for money right then and there. My own little cousins asking him for money right then and there.
Crazy, dude.
All day, you just gotta provide. You can't even grieve a little bit.
Right.
And it's like, that to me is such a toxic trait because, yo, we don't allow people to really just sit and feel their feels, or we're really asking like, how are you doing, without expecting something back.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that shit's a toxic ass trait.
Yeah.
You know, and I see that from both men and women.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I'll tell you another thing too, actually. So I feel like I said, growing up like that, not talking about anything and like always holding that in, having to be tough, you know, and keep going, has like helped me in a lot of ways. But I feel like for the most part has damaged me, because like also I remember like just growing up with that, like holding in so much negativity. Is like, man, like I had hate, like I was literally angry like at the world or whoever, you know.
Yeah.
Like I remember like originally, like until kind of high school, I started like just heading, you know, more in a wrong path, you know, just making a lot of bad choices and stuff, and really didn't care, and like was like just going like, you know, just in a bad direction altogether, like just kind of throwing my life away, you know, and I didn't care, you know, it didn't affect me, like I did not have any care in the world, like I was just like had the mentality like I'm so tough, like none of this shit matters to me. And I remember when I got arrested, like I remember my mom coming to see me, dude, and like I hadn't seen her in a while. Like when I was going through all that, I moved out when I was like 16, going through all that shit. I didn't see her for like 2 years. Bro, she walked in as I was arrested because they called her, and I saw her like bawling, man. And like I remember breaking down, and like I was like crying at that time too, man. I was like I let her down. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, like it was tough, you know, because I didn't have a father for the first couple, like first good amount of years of my life, you know. So it was just me and her, and like to let her down, man. Like she was working so hard and to do everything to try to give me a better life and take care of me, you know. Like to see her like look at me disappointed like that, man. Like seeing me in handcuffs like that, man, that's so disrespectful. And like if I could do anything, man, I would love to take back that and like try to fix that, man. And like even then is like I didn't want any kind of father figure or anything. I was angry that I didn't have a father. You know, growing up in school and seeing other kids with dads and stuff like that, it made me mad. Yeah. So she ended up getting married, you know, when I was like, I think probably like 10 or 11 or something like that. But at that point, like, bro, I didn't want a father. So I remember I was the worst asshole to this guy. Like, I was such a terrible, like, you know, I'm growing up and getting towards like 12 and stuff. I think like I know everything. Yeah. And bro, honestly now, like looking back at it, it's like I wish I could go back and change and build that relationship with him. Like, man, because he taught me a lot growing up. Now, like my work ethic and my like sense of like I will never be broke again. Like my sense of like I will do whatever it takes to make sure food's on the table, make sure my bills paid. You know, came from him. Like he showed me so much and he has taught me so much. Like, man, I remember times like lights getting cut off or like we couldn't pay the water bill until like next week or something like that, you know? And like I remember him like working all night or doing anything he could to take care of me and my brothers and stuff like that. And like I was like, man, like looking back at it, it's like I've had those struggles as an adult taking care of just me, or whether it's me or my girlfriend. And he had to do all that, taking care of kids and a wife and himself, you know, feed everybody and struggling. And I'm like, man, like I can't imagine, like that's a man. Like I look back and I'm like, that's what a man should be. 100%. You know what I'm saying? And like all I can do is try to strive to be that, because like for the longest I wasn't. You know, it wasn't that he did anything wrong, but it's like in our mindset is like we think that that's the only thing to a man. You know what I'm saying? That he has to be the provider and work hard, which is great. That's I think that's not a problem at all. But it's also like, man, like we have to see that like not only did he provide financially, that he was there. He spent time with his kids. He tried to be in my life. You know, he was there for my mom. He bought her things on like Valentine's Day and stuff, and he was there emotionally. You know what I'm saying? Like now as an adult, we kind of like we have to realize there's more to it than just being a financial provider.
100%.
Most definitely.
100%.
I definitely have an experience like that where, you know, at one point I was out of job, you know, with one of my, you know, partners that I had. We were living together too. And again, you know, I got to a point where I didn't have a job, but all I was doing was, you know, cooking, cleaning, you know, doing the laundry and all that. And it got to a point where like I felt less of a man because I wasn't working, because I wasn't, because that was put in my head. Exactly. And that was one of those things where like, you know, I would call my mom and be like, oh, how are you doing this and that? I was like, oh yeah, I just got done doing this. And like, I know sometimes she would put it on speaker and my dad would hear it and he'd like, you know, he'd be like, oh, this motherfucker.
Criticize.
Like, criticize. Yeah. He'd like say something in the background and I'll just ignore it. And it's just one of those things where like he like kind of looked down at me too. And that even felt worse. Like, you know, the pain of that, you know, it got to a point where even like I started like outlashing, you know, at her, you know, because and it got to a point where we sat down and we had the conversation and I was like, I just feel less of a man, and I was like, I'm sorry that I'm like, you know, lashing it out on you, but I'm so mad at on other people around me, and she was the only one I was basically around, because I at that time like I really didn't even hang out with anybody, you know. I was literally, it was just one of those things where we were always together, and I feel like where you said that, you need a partner where like balances you out and this and that. You know, I feel like it was a great relationship and everything, but you know, we didn't have that balance of you doing your own thing, me doing our own thing. It was just us always doing something together.
This is the problem too. Is I feel like at the same time as we need to like realize that if there's no like, oh, I'm doing more for you now. Like you can't hold tabs if you're on the same page. Exactly. Yeah, it's not like, oh, I'm doing more for you, you owe me or anything. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, as long as we're not like, if you care about somebody, like it's the same thing like with my homies. Like, man, if I do something favor for you, it's not like, oh, hey, you owe me this.
I'm not counting.
I'm not counting favors, dog.
That's
not counting favors.
It's weird.
That's the relationship's got to be the same way. It's like, man. Because I've been in a situation, I didn't have a job and I was getting taken care of. Yeah. I've been in a situation where I had the only money coming in and she was getting taken care of. Yeah. Bro, at the same time, she was there for me, I was there for her. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like I sometimes I didn't even appreciate that. Like it took me a while to realize, like, man, she was there for me at my lowest. Yeah. At the bottom when I didn't have $1 to spend, bro. When I'm living, not even making it paycheck to paycheck type stuff. You know what I'm saying? She went out there, she got a job and did what she had to. Yeah. And I feel like the thing is too, man, is not for all women. I can't say all women and not even
and women can't say all men.
Exactly. But I'm gonna say right here is I know sometimes a woman when the man in a relationship is hurting financially, she'll bring that up to him or try to like mention it in a way and she doesn't think it's serious. I'm telling you right now, as a man in a position where you feel like you have to be a provider and you're hurting, that you're hurting worse than anybody. Yeah. Like I'm feeling like he was saying, I feel like less of a man. Yeah. For you to bring that up against him, it's like, man, like, and I'm not gonna, like I said, it doesn't count to everybody because some dudes are just bums, and if they're bums, you need to get rid of them. If they're not trying every day, getting off their ass to try to hustle some way somehow, 100%. Whether it's getting a job, mopping the floor, mowing grass, they take care of himself at least, then he's a bum. But I'm saying, like, sometimes, man, like, if you don't realize it's like that man is doing everything he can. Like he's paying for what he can. Because I know personally some people that are like, man, they're not doing the best right now. Yeah. You know. It's Christmas. You think you're gonna be able to do everything for your family, and you can't, and that's tough, bro. I know how tough that is. You know? And I feel like
we actually have a friend who we kind of wish was more just open. Not afraid to ask for help.
Definitely, like this is the thing. It's like I have like if you're in my life to a certain degree, like somebody that I feel like is important to me, somebody I feel like that by this point we're gonna be in each other's life forever. Yeah, I have no problem lending out money to you. Yeah, I have no problem if you're in a position of need. And like I said, like this, I think me and Kevin talking about the same friend. Bro, if this friend needed anything on any day, I'd pull out this money. Like, bro, I have no problem. This man has only asked me for money once, paid it back as soon as possible. Yeah. And I'm telling you, this man doesn't like to owe nobody. He don't like to ask for favors because he is like, he, you know what I'm saying? He's got that man mentality. Like, I need to do it. Yeah. But it's the thing is, like, I would not care to help this man on any day.
Yeah, fine, shit. Can I have $40?
Right, bro. Like, no, I'm just playing. It's just not a thing like that. Okay. But like I said, it's like, bro, if you're not making it, and you're somebody who does care and somebody who is not a piece of shit, that's gonna hurt you, bro. If you can't cut it, that's gonna like intentionally, like inside, you know what I'm saying? That's gonna hurt you. Like that's gonna cause you pain because you can't provide the way that you feel like you should. Yeah. But like I said, it's all about finding that person who will do what they can for you. And you will do what you can.
And it's one of those things where too, I hope that like people that are listening and stuff like that, you're not taking this as a, because that's a thing. Like as a man, I do want to be a provider. Right. Do I care if my partner is making the same or more? 100%. No, as long as I'm living my life very happily and doing the job that I want to do, because that's my big thing. I don't want life to be about money, because seeing those things as a kid about how literally money can make people betray you or just make people go crazy. I just want to be happy. I definitely want to be able to provide for my family and do my part, but I want to be happy. You know what I'm saying? More than anything. And if you're happy and if conveniently your job makes you way more money than mine and you're happy, cool, I'm in there for you. 100%. You know what I'm saying? And conveniently, if mine makes more, whatever. It don't make sense.
Like you said, I think that's something that needs to be touched on too. Is you can't be upset if your partner is doing better than you.
Oh my God,
you should be happy for that person. Like,
get the
I feel like that's something that like as a
take
man,
care of me.
Right? No, definitely. Like, bro, like you know what I'm saying? I feel like. No.
It's like it's Peter Parker talking, I think, to Mary Jane, and he's like, "Te saco de trabajar, mija."
Oh yeah.
And then he's like, "Pues sácame tú."
See what I'm saying? No, but really, like, bro, if you care about that person, it should not hurt you that they're doing better.
No,
you know, and bro, if we're going to work and we're both doing the same job, but you get paid more, hey man, congratulations. Like, you know, I'm happy for you. Like, that's awesome. You know,
hell yeah.
Like, bro, I think that shit's great. Like,
we're
honestly,
in this together.
Right now, dude, my girl makes more than me. Like, I'm like, go out there and get that guap, baby.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
do your thing.
Shit, I want a PS5 for Christmas. Nah, I'm just saying.
Nah, but yeah. All right, Kevin, what you got on all this? Cause you
have a
we've
different
been
point
talking
of view
like a
about this,
motherfucker.
Yeah, Kevin likes to be controversial too. Usually.
Kevin likes to be quiet until Kevin waits. All right, go for it, Kevin.
I don't even know if I have so many things. So.
I don't know. What do you feel like you've experienced toxic masculinity?
Yeah. I was thinking, about my dad.
Well, what's the kind of relationship you guys have? Like,
bro,
even throughout your life, just quiet.
It used to be pretty fun.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
But when did that stop for you guys?
I don't know. I think it's just like them coming to the States, kind of like losing their path and just wilding out.
Yeah.
They just did their own thing and everything came to light. So they both got kind of like separated in a way. So it kind of became more of just like a money deal of being together for the kid and providing.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It was just like, now it's just more providing.
I felt that was always a toxic trait as well.
Me and my dad, we don't even talk at all. So I feel like that's also another thing.
I feel like that's something that, like you say, you don't know people's circumstances.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Kevin also like I know Kevin very well. I think Kevin's one of the greatest people you can talk to. Kevin's there for like almost anybody.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
Kevin knows almost everybody's story. Kevin's been there for me, you know, at times of like where I was going through shit. But I feel like Kevin also, like, he has that masculine trait. Maybe it's from his dad too, that where he doesn't like to talk about shit when he's going through it a lot.
Yeah.
But sometimes I can tell. Like, sometimes I can tell. You know, me and Kevin have had like barely only a few talks where he's actually like opened up to me about some deep shit he's going through, because, you know what I'm saying, he's at the same way, like, where he has that pride.
But I also feel like it's not even the pride. I feel like he handled it much better.
Yeah.
I feel like I've learned from my dad and just seeing people out there.
See, but it's not as healthy to just like face it. It's like you gotta deal with it too. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, because this is the thing, is like, you were telling me just not too long ago, you're like, man, like, I was having the worst day the other day. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And whether it might not be that exact issue, but that bottled up, like, negative energy, bro, that'll come out sometimes. Yeah. I know you, Kevin. I know sometimes we've hung out, and, like, bro, there's no reason for you to have attitude. But sometimes you be in a bad fucking mood, and you try to act like you're not. And I'm like, bro, I know. I can tell that shit.
Yesterday made me realize that. I was like, bro, like, I don't think this is... I don't know. I guess I don't experience, because I guess I try to bottle it up too much. But man, yesterday experiencing, I was like, man, I'm in like a shitty mood. I feel like I'm being a dick today.
Dude, and that's like that's negative. Like, bro, like it will put literal hate in your heart for whatever reason.
That's the thing, though. Whenever that happens to me, I try my best to always, like, at least I know the situation. I may not talk about it, but I know, like, like, this is not healthy, but I'm gonna just go home and just, like, I don't know. I don't even know how to deal with it, actually, to be honest.
That's what we're saying.
Exactly.
I guess I don't know. I guess I've gone through it so much where I bottle everything up. I don't talk to
it always
well, exactly.
It's
always bad,
though. If you don't
like,
deal with it, it will always come back.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like at one point you have to talk about it, like not just to like exactly, but it's not.
That's
it's
a
not.
Step,
yeah.
But that's not the end of the road.
Yeah.
Acknowledging it is a step to being like, okay, this is the problem, but that doesn't give you the solution.
I guess
you know what I'm saying?
Up for so long, dude.
You don't even know where to start.
I guess it's kind of hard to even talk about.
Yeah,
that's why I haven't even been talking about.
I think Kevin, honestly, I think more than anything, it's just
That's why I try to be nice to everyone, because I know.
Yeah.
So, bro, anyone that comes up to me, I'll be super.
That's
nice.
Bro. Kevin will literally give his best to anyone. I've seen this man time after time help people.
Dude, he's the nicest fucking person ever.
And I'm like, I hate it because honestly, it's like I've seen the bad end of the spectrum of like people that will take advantage.
Oh my god!
And I hate that because I'm like, man, like I know people who will take advantage of this. I know people have taken advantage of his niceness. 100%. And I hate that because Kevin will give you his best to anyone.
You could shit on anybody and Kevin will find a good thing about them.
Kevin will definitely find help that person out of anything.
Yep.
Yeah, bro, Kevin has had people like take from him and help those people, and I'm like, man, like.
Luckily, it hasn't been nothing
crazy?
big,
Yeah.
But lucky for having those experiences, I know better now than what to do.
Yeah.
I don't know if you do, Kevin. I don't know if you do, because Kevin has told me a situation recently where he's involved himself in helping somebody that I definitely would not have. You know what I'm saying? Like, me personally, I would not have put myself in that position.
I was driving through downtown back from work, and I'm pulling up on the left lane to a truck with the hazard lights on. So I'm about to turn to the right, and I'm turning to the right, and I see a wave hand to my window, and I'm like, oh shit. was like already crossing through. I couldn't even stop anymore. I had to go. But man, something like I felt so bad. I was like, man, maybe that man needed some help. So I like fucking made a Yui, drove around Tin Roof twice, and there's this older gentleman in an orange jacket, and he like finally found him. Like he came up to one. He's like, "You're an Uber?" I was like, "No." I was like, "But I guess you need like a ride or something."
Kevin.
No.
He said, "I guess you need a ride or something."
And I'm talking about like the most recent situation.
I was gonna say he's got two. Got two.
I'm not talking about like this one. But my most recent one, this man just needed a ride, which was kind of like pointless because he was like, yeah, I came to Lexington. I live 3 hours away. Forgot my phone. Couldn't turn back around.
Do you hear how sketchy this story is? Like this one, like obviously he's
Where was this?
It turned out fine.
Where
but
was this?
listen to his story. Listen to his story. Like run again what he told you, why he needed a ride.
Oh, I was like, what are you doing? Like, if you came with somebody, why aren't you with them? He's like, well, we've been kind of like drinking beers throughout the day. He got pretty drunk, so he like called his daughter to pick him up. He's like, that's kind of embarrassing to call your daughter to pick you up. I'm like, bro, you're out here stranded without a phone, trying to find a ride back to your hotel because you're embarrassed.
What'd he say? Like he was like drove from 3 hours away and left his phone back home.
Yeah. Like he had
Where
no
was
phone.
this,
bro?
This was downtown.
This is a sketchy story. Like,
what were you doing?
I was coming back from work, heading through downtown like I always do.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, bro, I've came a couple encounters with people that I don't think should be in those situations, and I've literally picked them up and taken them to the hotel, and they've come out to be like normal people, but man, they've just been out drinking and being with shitty people.
And good thing has happened to him, but this is the thing, is I don't want him to take that confidence and be like, oh man, like the world is a good place, like these people needed to help, and it worked out, and that's dope that it did. Yeah. But you know how many people, like, bro, like, if he put himself in a position to get robbed or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, that would suck. Yeah. Just because he wanted to help somebody.
I feel like I got a good judgment.
I feel like he definitely does not. I feel like he definitely...
Yeah, Kevin, knowing you for years, I don't think you have a great... But I will say that's nice of you, I guess. I picked up a hitchhiker before, too, so I feel that.
He helped out somebody else, like, way more than that. Like, like on a different level. I don't know if you want to tell him about that. But I don't think I care. So, all right, then explain the story. So listen to this. Yeah, check this out.
I was, like, having I don't know, I was having a bad feeling that day. And somehow I was just like, you know what, I'm going to just go to fucking Kroger and walk around. And I'm pulling up, literally, bro. I like went to fucking Kroger in Euclid, and I'm walking up to the door, and this man asked me for a lighter, and I'm like, I ain't got one. I got one in my car. I'm like, man, like shit, he needs to fucking smoke. Like, I'll give him my fucking lighter. Went back, grabbed a lighter, gave him my lighter, told him to keep it, and just like all of a sudden, he's like, I just got nowhere to go, blah blah blah, and I'm like, oh shit, like bro, that's kind of like, he's like, I just got homeless tonight, like I just came home. I'm like, what the fuck? That's kind of a little too much. So I kind of just walked away. And then, again, I went to the ATM, got some money, walked around. I'm like, maybe he kind of does need some help. But didn't pay attention, drove off. Drove around like Kroger, came back around. And I was like, hey, man, like, are you going to be okay? He's like, I just really need a ride. I'm like, all right, like, I'll take you somewhere if you want.
He said, sounds sketchy.
But, I mean, he had nice clothes on, like, I was like, bro, like, this man, I don't know.
It's not cute.
No,
not even. I don't know where it'll take me.
Not even. But man, driving him around, trying to get him to his brothers or like family members, nobody would answer him. So at that point, I was like, people are probably voting you for a reason. So I'm gonna just try my best to get you somewhere that you need to go. So I suggested the Hope Center. We went there. They had to ask him to like, you gotta go quarantine in this fucking tent in the middle of like. Out in the parking lot for 15 days. I'm like, bro, you're not gonna fucking stay in this tent for 15 days. Like, what? And I tried my best, and bro, he could not find somewhere to stay, so I just bought him a fucking hotel room at the Red Roof Inn.
Generous.
Let him stay there.
Nice man. Good dude.
That's nice. No, I mean, like...
How long did you get the room for, though?
Nah, just one night. Because I was telling him,
and
bro,
Kevin got a happy ending.
Nah,
I was just
like,
that's what he was waiting for.
Like, throughout the ride, he kept coming out with, like, oh, my girlfriend's, like, she's a bitch, I love her, but, she ain't trying to help. I'm like, bro, I think the least of your worries right now is your fucking girlfriend. I kept trying to tell him, like, bro, stop, like, drop your fucking phone and look for a place to stay at. Like, I think that should be the least of your worries. And I told him, I was like, if I get you this fucking room, I expect you to find some place tomorrow. He did. He ended up finding a place to stay for the next couple of days.
And see, I know, and like, I get it, man, because I, like, me personally, like, no lie, on some stupid shit because of my stupid decisions and shit. But I found myself homeless. Like I found myself and I have nowhere to stay. I had to sleep in a garage for a little bit of time, and then eventually like the people. It was a friend's parents' house, and then like they were like, no, he can't stay in there. Like once they found out, you know what I'm saying. So then I had to go, dude. And I remember I was hanging out with Kevin, and I had nowhere to go, bro. And I didn't even want to tell him. Like I was so close, like so close to him, but I didn't want to say shit. Like I felt like a piece of shit because I had nowhere to stay. And I remember I would have him like when we were done hanging out, I'd be like, drop me off at this park, right? And he was like, dude, like where the fuck are you going? And I was like, oh, I'm just going down here to meet somebody or something. And he's like, why do I always drop you off here?
Yeah, I was
like why? He's like, why do you always want to get dropped off here? I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna like, you know, I was just saying some stupid shit. He's like, all right, well, I don't have shit to do. I'll just come hang out with you. I was
You're like,
all right.
fuck.
So then we walked down to like the park and shit, and I'm like, Kevin, I'm gonna be real with you, bro. I'll be sleeping here. I ain't got nowhere to go, bro. And he was like, bro, are you fucking crazy? Like, what the fuck? Like, come get in the car. You know what I'm saying? He let me stay. Yeah, he let me stay with him, bro. Like, he took me to his house and stuff, and it was just like, bro, like I knew he would have. But I was embarrassed. Like, bro, I didn't want to talk about it. Like, it took me a while to even, like, to talk about that story, bro.
Oh, 100%.
I just, like, it's, like, that's that, bro. It's, like, I felt like a bum. Like, I felt like I wasn't doing enough, you know what I'm saying? And it's, like, all I needed to do was get back on my feet. But to have somebody help me get back on my feet.
Asking for help was that
bro,
hard.
That was so hard. Like, I would rather sleep outside than let somebody know what I'm going through.
Yeah.
And I did, bro. Like, it's just, like, man, like, so some people really do need that help. I hate to say that. I hate to be like, nah, man, like, don't never help nobody.
Yeah, but Kevin, you keep putting yourself in situations where you don't know these motherfuckers.
Exactly. Bro, that's the thing. That's the thing that's sketchy. It's like, that's the only thing that gets me.
You're not scared about it. And I mean, that's cool. But like,
it's like, man, like it could just be the wrong person, the wrong time,
and
like
you know what it is, Kevin. As your friends, we're asking you to be more careful.
Exactly.
Hurt. I can do that.
Okay, thank you. See, that's all it is, because that's all it is for us. Because it's like we more than anything, we want you to be safe.
Let me tell you,
He about to go pick up somebody tonight.
I was crossing through downtown. I think this was like last year. Man, it was raining, pouring rain. Got off work, going down Broadway. Not gonna lie, I spot this like man walking on the side, not even on the sidewalk, side of the fucking street. I'm like, oh shit, like that man. Like, why is that? First of all, why is that man naked in underwear? And why is he very muscular? And
why is he very muscular? Why is the
Kevin,
second thought? He said his underwear and he's muscular.
And
that's all I need.
He had like clothes carrying in his hand. I'm like, I don't think this man should be in this type of situation. So I made a Yui. Not gonna lie. I pulled up. I'm like,
he rolled out the window. He's like,
he said, what you doing out here?
Hey.
I pulled up. I was like, bro, are you okay? He's like, yo. He's like, I need to get back to my hotel. Like, I've been walking from Tin Roof. I'm like, no, Tukey's. I was like, bro, you've been walking from Tukey's and you need to get where? He's like, the Ramada. Out by Paris and Broadway. I'm like, you've been walking from Tukey's and you're trying to get there? He's like, yeah, I just don't know where it's at. I think it's straight from here. I was like, I can take you if you go. He's like, bro, please. Come to find out he's a fucking Marine guy. Got left by his friends at Tukey's and won't answer his phone calls. Bro, and he's like, I'm sure they're at the hotel. I'm like, bro, I think you need better friends.
See, Kevin just like,
and
for some reason,
I'll be your friend.
Kevin's like, I've never had a Marine. Senpai pie. No, but I think it's crazy because I feel like people, and Kevin puts himself in the positions because he's so nice, but I feel like people are so open to talking to him because I feel like when he goes out with me, like an Oscar or some, like he sticks out. Like he doesn't look like us. He looks like the nice guy. Like people.
He looks like the nice guy.
Like, bro, you don't look like a bad guy.
bro, he literally. So we were at the store, and like we walked past the same dude. This dude was like asking for money. Didn't say shit to me and my friend when we walked in. Didn't say nothing. Kevin came behind us. He like tried to ask Kevin. He's like, nah, I don't have anything. We walk up to the cash register. A dude walks in. He like comes up behind Kevin, like whispers in his ear. He's like, I got $5 dick.
Oh my god!
And I see him and I turn around I'm like, what's up? And he's like, oh, nothing. So we get out to the car. I'm like, Kevin, what that dude say to you? He was like, bro, this man trying to say he got $5 dick for sale.
I'm like, what the fuck? I was at the I was literally at the cash register and this man was ringing my stuff up. He comes up to my ear. He's like, $5 dick. I'm like, get away from me. I was like, what the fuck,
dude? And that's not the. So look, there's another occasion. Kevin was at this park.
Yeah, I'm scared. You need to shut up.
Kevin was at this park, bro, and he's out there and it's raining, right? Bro, some naked
Oh,
dude, buck
yes.
naked dude, like runs up and tries to get in Kevin's car.
Bruh.
He's like, can I get a ride or some shit? Kevin's
Bro,
like,
I'm
get
at
the
this
fuck
park
out.
about to light up a blunt,
Bro.
and it's pouring rain. Like I'm telling you,
I'm
storming ice and
pissed.
rain, and my door opens, and it's this man naked.
Buck naked.
Butt
Bro,
naked.
where were you?
I was in this park out by
What time was it?
It was like 10. It was like after work. I was just trying to have a good time and smoke my blunt.
I'm
And
pissed.
he's like, and then God bless me
Bruh.
with the naked
Bro,
man.
I'm telling.
God said,
I'm like, he was like, I was like, and he asked me, he's like, bro, like, can I get a head? I'm like, no, like, what the fuck? Get away from me. Bro, he closes my door and proceeds to open my back door. I'm like, bro, get the fuck away
He
from
like
me.
I'm
opened the door, buck
pissed.
naked.
What
His
the
like dick
fuck?
swung and hit Kevin in the forehead.
I mean, bro,
Like-
that dick was in my face. I was like, what the fuck?
it was raining, man.
And like, it's like
Hallelujah.
his shit
That
like,
was one of the worst.
bro, his
like,
shit like smacked Kevin across the nose.
I'm pissed.
That was like one of the craziest things ever happened.